Hi, EOD, EOD, EOD. This is Stacy Williams Dupre, and I'm here today to talk about meeting etiquette. It is important that we have effective meetings, and in order to do that, we need to follow a plan. And so, what does meeting etiquette dictate? It dictates that there is a meeting before the meeting. Now, that meeting takes place, it can take place in person, it can take place over a conference call, but that meeting is designed to bring together the team leaders who are going to facilitate this meeting, and you work out where that meeting is going to take place, what day it's going to take place, and what time the meeting is going to take place. You also want to designate someone who is going to be at the registration table and someone who is going to greet your guests. Those people should absolutely be people persons, right? They should be the happy people that love to make a place, the hospitality group of your team. You want to make sure that's who it is, that they like people. You want to assign someone to be in charge of refreshments, and refreshments should at least be water. We don't say a big spread, but it should at least be water for your guest. You want to make sure that there is someone designated to keep the time. You want a timekeeper that is going to keep everybody in the time that they are allotted, so that your meeting runs efficiently, and that it runs on time. Here's something you also need to think about. You need to think about assigning someone to meet late arriving guests. That's important because you don't want your presenter to be distracted, and you want to make sure that late arriving guests can get in, so you find a place that will be least distracting to the presenter. So you want to make sure you do that. You want to make sure that they know that we're coming with excitement the day of. Whatever you've gone through, you leave it before you get to that meeting, and so that we create a great atmosphere. Decide on the type of music that you may want to play, because music is important, and it can really, you don't want to play anything that's going to put anybody to sleep, but you want to play something that is lively, that is going to get the energy flowing. Now, the next thing is that you have to have the day of the meeting. You want to make sure that you show up at least 45 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Why? You want to make sure that that room is set up properly. You want to make sure that any technology you're using is working effectively, any sound. You want to make sure that it's loaded and run through. You also want to make sure that you are not arriving with your guests. There is nothing like being unprepared. You want to make sure that everything is set, so when your guests arrive, they'll see how efficient and prepared you are. And if they're anything like me, you're going to arrive a little bit early because you want to be on time. And that's what you want to make sure that you're prepared for. So the day of the meeting, you want to make sure that you're on time. You want to make sure that everything, that you're excited, and that you're bringing a spirit of excitement, and that, you build the energy in the room, because that is so very important. Now, in the time frame that your guests arrive before the meeting starts, you may want to introduce them to some of your teammates. So for instance, if you have a guest who is a teacher and one of your teammates is in education, you should probably make that connection. One, because it builds the camaraderie. Two, because it gives your guest an input. Well, if she's or he is in education and he's doing this, maybe this is something that I should do as well. Here's something you don't want to do. As you meet and greet people as they're coming, and they're here, and the person who invited them is not at the meeting because maybe they couldn't make that particular meeting, or maybe they're from out of town and they found out about your meeting, they live someplace else, and they sent their prospect. Don't try to take that prospect. Make sure you refer them back to the person. In fact, have them call the person and talk to them and introduce yourself as a fellow business partner, and take care of that guest for that business partner, because we want to walk in integrity, and we want a spirit where people will feel comfortable inviting people to come to our meetings. That's what we want to do. So make sure that we do that. Now, when the meeting starts, you want to make sure that your guest has gone to the restroom prior to the start, so that they don't miss anything. But cell phones are such a huge distraction in our lives and everywhere we go. So you want to make sure that people silence their cell phone. And here's a fun way you can do it. The person you assign to welcome the guest or and maybe they're going to introduce the presenter as well, you let them tell the people that you know you're about to get some life-changing information and you want to document that this happened. So I want you to take a picture of yourself before you receive this information. Just take your cell phone out and take a selfie, right? Because everybody loves to take selfies. And while they have the phone out, you can tell them, now that you've got that, you've documented that, let everybody silence their phone. Make sure your phone is on silent. That's a fun way to get it done quickly. Now, here's something you don't want to do. You don't want to explain to your guests anything. You want to edify the presenter and let the presenter explain it, right? You don't want to, let them do the job that they are to do. You should sit with your guests to support your guests. And you should also make sure, again, that you're not leaving the room. This information is way too important to leave the room. What we also want you to do, right, part of team etiquette, meeting etiquette, is to play team. So that means whether you have seen that presentation done by that same presenter 500 times, you are going to make it seem like this is the first time you heard what they had to say. When they say raise your hand, you're going to raise your hand. When they clap your hands, you're going to clap your hands. Whatever they're saying, you agreeing with it. When it's wow, oh my gosh, yes, you are doing that. And that is so very important for you to do for your presenter and also for yourself and for your guests. So you want to make sure that you do that. Now, if you hear your presenter say something that may not be exactly right, let it go. Don't ever correct your presenter and don't ever question them at that point. You don't want to de-edify them in front of your guests or in front of your team. That's not what it's designed to do. Now, when the meeting is over, don't run out the room. Turn to your guests and find out what it was that they liked, that they saw about, what they saw or heard. And if they say, you know what, I'm not interested, I don't like nothing I heard, I'm ready to go. You say, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you taking out your time, and you kindly escort them to the door. If your guest turns to say, wow, I can't believe that, I'm excited, but I have a question, then you take them up and you introduce them to your presenter or to one of the leaders in the room and let them close the deal. If that person is excited and is like, I am in, sign me up, then you get them signed up and then you welcome them. You have the team welcome them to the opportunity or to your team. That is very important to do. So guys, listen, in review, you want to make sure that you have the meeting before the meeting. You want to make sure that you designate all of the responsibilities. You want to make sure that everybody comes on time. You want to make sure that everything is set up and running well. You want to make sure that you have created an atmosphere that is fun. You want to make sure that we're respectful of people who send their prospects to our meetings. We want to make sure that we're doing that, guys. That's integrity. We want to make sure that our meetings are something people want to be, they want to send their prospects to, or they want to come out to. And we want to make sure that we end our meetings on time. Time is so valuable. So I hope that you, my EOD family, were able to get something from this training. I hope that, there was a nugget or something that I shared that resonates. I am so excited. We have so much to do. We want to make sure that our foundation is set and that we are operating with integrity and we are operating in love. So I say to my EOD family, thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing day.